What an incredible day today. Kew is such a wonderful place to come to. Even in the winter, when it's raining, it's dreary, it's still wonderful. But on such a lovely day, it's just beautiful. I think it's a good auspicious start for us to launch this Green Tree Badge. I came about 2.5, 3 years ago here for an event for the Queen's Green Canopy. And that was a wonderful event where Tony took us round and showed us lovely trees. And we were part of this wonderful initiative that King Charles had launched for his mother. He wanted to give her a present for the Platinum Jubilee. And what do you give the Queen? She's got everything. So in his own unique style, he said, look, I'd like to give you trees, Mama. And the target was to give 1 million trees. But what happened was that target of 1 million trees was completely shattered. There were about 3.5 million trees that was planted for the Queen's Green Canopy. At the end, this wonderful organization, which we had a lot of fun for 1 year, was dismantled. Because most of the people who were part of the Queen's Green Canopy had their other jobs. So our CEO, Colonel Dan Rex, had to go back to the army. And many of them decided that they cannot do anything more because they had their day jobs. But then Smriti had this idea of trying to get some people who could take this forward, because it was such a wonderful initiative, the Queen's Green Canopy. And in a private way, we then decided to get involved with the Royal Forestry Society, for which we are very grateful to Christopher, to then start this campaign called the Green Tree Badge. Because why? We planted 3.5 million trees, but then what happens? I'll be gone in a few years. Then who looks after those trees, those 3.5 million trees, which was just planted in 1 year? And so we wanted children and grandchildren to get involved. And what better way than this Green Tree Badge, which gives you a lots of information. So before I say anything, I just wanted to tell you a little story. Some years ago, I was invited to St. James to get an award from the then Prince Charles, and he gave me an oak sapling. And as we talked about it, he asked me where my factory was, and I said Pondicherry in India. And he wanted to talk more about India, his love for India, his uncle Mountbatten. But his minders got a bit worried, because there were so many people that he had to meet. So they were pushing him to meet others. But anyway, at that point in time, he gave me an oak sapling and said to me, this is a gift from me. And as he walked by, he asked me, where am I going to plant this oak sapling? He'd already heard my factory was in Pondicherry, and in my nervousness, I said, I'm going to plant this in my factory. He'd already walked a few steps, and then he came back quite annoyed. He says, where did you say you're going to plant this? I said, I'm so sorry, sir, I meant my home in London. He says, bloody good. You don't plant this in a tropical country, you plant a teak tree there. So the reason I mention this is, planting a tree is not just simply planting a tree anywhere. You've got to plant the tree at the right place, at the right time, and the right tree. And that's what the Green Tree Badge is going to do, help children learn. And we've got a number of wonderful advisors. Tony, for one, has got full knowledge about trees, and we've really wonderfully created this Green Tree Badge book. I want to now actually formally ask you all to give a round of applause for Christopher for being such a great supporter. The Royal Forestry Society has been great in supporting us in bringing this forward, and Christopher and his team, including Becky, Edith, Jen, are all there to support us. And from our side, from my company's side, we've had so many trying to support us. The website has been created by Anne and Smriti, and the manufacturing of all these books, including the proofreading, the production, and the various products that you see are all part of my factory. One of the things which really amazed me when I got to know more about trees is how important trees are for the natural carbon capture and storage machines that they are, absorbing CO2 in the atmosphere through photosynthesis and then locking it up for centuries. It's why reforestations are touted as a key solution to climate crisis. It's one of our most powerful weapons, these humble trees. The entire woodland ecosystem plays a huge role in locking up carbon, including the living woods, roots, leaves, dead wood, surrounding soils, and the associated vegetation. Even a young wood with mixed native species can lock up over 400 tons of CO2. And there are so many other benefits associated with you. I cannot tell you how simple it is for each of us to preserve our trees and woods. It is also fun. Can you imagine the joy of seeing your little sapling grow? I'm truly grateful to all of you here, and I want to introduce another important person who's part of our team here, Sir Kenneth, who is not just a very senior figure in the establishment, but also an extremely successful businessman, a self-made entrepreneur. So may I just request Sir Kenneth to say a few words.